I'm Sarah Sharp, and this is my weekly wine down where I open a bottle of wine and talk about the themes of the week. This week is Sunny with a Chance of Flowers. What a charming little title, and it's delicious. I've had it before. It's carbonated. I love bubbles. I worked at a war crimes tribunal once. I was an investigator there who was quite scary, and he used to say, I only drink the pink stuff, because he only loved pink bubbles. And so when I drink the sparkling rosé, it always reminds me of him. It didn't get a wine glass.
A few moments later.
So I'm no longer at a war crimes tribunal. I help people with mergers and acquisitions when they buy and sell different businesses. This week I had a theme that came up a lot, which was liens. This is where I will lean against something. It's like liens, like L-I-E-N, against the assets of a company. And it's funny how it comes up twice in a week. Hold on. It's really good. 9% alcohol per volume. I don't know if that's high or not, but it's the end of the week. In one instance, I had the buyer and then the other one the seller, and they both were surprised by the effect of having a lien against the assets of the company. That's a really big deal. And when I talk to my clients, I like to call it out as early as possible, because if you don't, it can completely destroy your deal when you get down the road and you've wasted much time and expense, and the only people who have won are the lawyers. I don't really like to do things for no reason, even if it means I'm getting paid. So I would rather have a deal die early than die late. So in both cases, I'll give you the example of one. In one, the buyer was trying to buy a company. He knew that there had been an EIDL loan in the past.
An EID loan is an economic injury disaster loan that can provide up to $2 million of financial assistance to small businesses or private non-profit organizations that suffer substantial economic injury as a result of the declared disaster, regardless of whether the applicant sustained physical damage.
So when that happens, I always say, is there a lien? Because the SBA did all those economic injury disaster loan. Is that what it is? Did I just come up with that on there? I'm feeling pretty good about that acronym. But those like COVID relief type loans, they came out with them for everybody, but in almost every case, they filed a lien, which you can go on and do like a UCC lien search and find a lien against the assets of the company. And the way they describe the assets that are liened is so all-inclusive. It actually includes the word all tangible and intangible personal property. So if you are a company and you have one of those, the government filed a lien almost surely, and it probably included not just the personal property that you can touch, but also the personal property you can't touch, which is everything. I can't think of anything that wouldn't fit into those boxes, really. If there was an EIDL loan at any point, there is likely a lien out there. They do not automatically remove the liens. You want to check in on that. The problem is, I've had deals killed because they don't know that there's still a lien out there for whatever reason. Maybe the partner took out the loan and then disappeared and nobody really knew it was out there. Or sometimes the SBA doesn't automatically remove the lien, and if you don't have enough lead time to get them to do that or request a lien release, and if the buyer won't accept or the bank won't accept, and just a letter saying it was paid off, then you can be in a big skerfuffle at the end of closing. So why does it matter? Because it'll kill your deal is the biggest one. It's an ownership issue. So if somebody files a lien, they're saying that you as the seller don't fully own those assets, and that means you can't sell them to someone. You can't sell somebody something you don't own. Some buyers have a risk tolerance that's high enough that they would even take a liened asset, and maybe it depends on what it is, but let's say it's clientless and you know that the bank has a superior right to go get those. You're not going to pay the same amount for something that essentially is first owned by someone else. So 9 times out of 10, maybe 99 times out of 100, the buyer is going to want you to pay off all of the loans out there that have resulted in a lien. Other things that surprise people are like revolving lines of credit. You know, you get overwhelmed, I think, by all the loan package documents, and you don't read them all, and you don't realize they're also going and filing this very publicly findable lien against your assets. So if that happens, it could kill your deal. It will almost certainly delay it unless you call it out at the very beginning and start working on ways to solve for it. The theme that I had this week was, in both cases, unfortunately, the purchase amount wasn't greater than the debt amount. So, saying, hey, if you have a $500,000 business, I'm going to pay you $500,000 for it, but you have a $700,000 loan, that's not going to result in anyone taking that lien off of the assets. And so you're not going to be able to pay it off at closing, even though that might be a good deal for you because you're running a business that you don't want to be running anymore and you just want to get out and start cutting your losses. You can't make that happen very easily. So that is one of the issues that I had both sides. I had a seller trying to sell who said, I get that I'm in debt. I get that I have this lien. I'll keep my business open. I'll keep paying this loan that has resulted in the lien. I'll keep paying it off. But the buyer said, hey, listen, I'm not going to buy assets that are clouded title because it doesn't make any sense for me. In the other case, I had a buyer who really wanted to buy assets. She said, I want to buy these assets. I don't care that there's a lien. I mean, what is the SBA? What is the government going to do? Come take this client list? That doesn't make sense. They don't know what to do with it. I feel good about it personally, but they were going to finance the deal and the bank said no way in hell. Because of that, her dreams were crushed. And the seller couldn't get out either. So liens, big deal, big threshold issue. You don't want to wait too long to dig in on that. And another thing that I think is worth thinking about is, hold on. It's really good. Is that the banks usually don't want to run a lien search until pretty close to closing. And a really thorough one can cost some money. In Colorado, where I live, you can look it up for free. But that's not always the case. It's worth considering doing that on the early side instead of waiting for the bank to do it like 72 hours before closing if there's a bank. Because when you're surprised by that, boy, it's a scramble and everyone's so displeased. And I don't want that for anyone. So look into liens. Lean into lien removal, maybe. This is my weekly wind down. Thanks for tuning in. If you get any value, please like and subscribe.